Hey everyone, today we are driving down a pretty muddy old road and we got a couple blockages on here that we're going to be taking a look at. So if you want to ride along with me, here we are. If you're just here to see me unclogging some pipes, you can click on the timestamp or click ahead to the timestamp I'm going to leave below for you. So this is a pretty treacherous road today that we're traveling down. It is mud season. This road does have a few places. If I were to stop while going through the mud, I would likely get stuck, so I gotta gun it through a couple of places. Log trucks are suspended until further notice when these roads start drying out. During mud season, logging is still going on and it is being stockpiled against the edge of the road for when the roads dry out enough so the trucks can actually come down again. Put the windows down a little bit so you can hear what's going on with the mud and splashing, because there will be a few bigger puddles as we continue. And as you can see, there's still a good amount of snow out here for the almost end of April. That snow will still be around probably a few weeks into the month of May. There's a soft spot, but nothing compared to what we will be getting into. So yeah, here looks like we're very well into spring. You can see some of the grass starting to grow in, but you see on the shady side of the road, there's still a good amount of snow. Well, if I go into dense parts of the forest, there's still a couple feet on the ground. If you have a dense area of evergreens, the sun just can't get down there. So the amount of snow really does depend on the amount of cover you got. And you see all that mud I'm going through. My vehicle only weighs just over 3,000 pounds. Imagine what an 80,000 pound log truck would do. That's why they're not coming down here for the time being. In the wintertime, they'll be running 200,000 pound double wide trailers full of logs when the ground's completely frozen. There are also a good amount of moose tracks out here today. Ba-boom. I'm bogging down a little bit. This road also does have a very good amount of wildlife. Today alone, I saw a mama bear with 3 cubs quickly run into the woods when I was coming down the road. Saw a couple turkeys. They didn't seem to have much fear. They just calmly walked into the woods. Saw a deer, which is actually a rarity. Technically, Maine has a lot of deer, but I just rarely see them. I honestly see moose more than a deer. I saw a couple moose last night, which was kind of fun. Haven't seen them in a while. But when the roads are muddy, there's a lot of moose tracks. They like walking in it. But boom. Yeah, you might hear some noises. There's something broken underneath the back of the car. I will figure that out as soon as I get out of here in a couple days. So I plan on being out here for like 5 days. I got 8 cans of gas. I'm down to 3 more left. And I'm about to put 2 of them in probably an hour or so. Ooh, a big hole right there. That was a big hole. When we see a big hole like that, just want to back up. Where's the hole? Looking in my mirror. I'm just going to quickly get out. I got some marking ribbon here. I just want to put a little piece there to warn people that that is there. Because it's a hole in the middle of the road, I'm going to find a nice rock, wrap it around the rock, and place it in the middle of the road. Let me just pause this video for a second. Back in. So, yeah, a few people splashing it may cover it up or whatever, but that's just trying to prevent someone from breaking their axle or whatever, hitting that hole. Not many people are out on these roads this time of year. That only other track you're seeing is from me. I went down to an area where it was just washed out. Got my boots on, went for a little walk. I was sinking pretty deep and knew the car could not go through it. So I turned around. This road, we're probably about 30 miles into it. But we're probably 60 miles at least until we were to get out of the wilderness at this point. Here's a muddy area. Ooh, swerving a bit, sinking pretty deep. Oh, bottomed out. Bogging down. Do not want to stop. Whoa! Made it out. Sinking pretty deep into that section. Whoop, I can feel myself sinking and slowing down there. And also, when you're driving through mud like that, it destroys your MPG. This car recently I've been getting like 25, but out here I'm getting like 22, and it's still dropping a bit. Mud just bogs you down a bit. But when the roads are in pretty good shape, like right here, I'm going 40 miles an hour right now. If it was summertime, without hazards around every corner, I'd probably be going 50. Going by, I'm observing every pipe, every culvert pipe. That one's got a big crumple on it, but nothing's being held up. There's a little bit of a muddy area. No, that dried up, but it was a muddy area. And you're seeing all the hoof tracks maybe in the road from the moose. Here's a pipe. Everything looks all right. Not even sinking in the road. Ba-boom. Finally just turned away from the sun there. Don't have as much glare. Looks like we're turning back into it. Another culvert, nicely built up on top, so that plastic one shouldn't get crushed for a little while. Keep observing the drainage ditch, looking for problems. This section of road is pretty nice before we get back into a good amount of mud. This, you can tell, was very muddy. You can see people throwing it up, but that has already hardened because now that most of the snow is gone, water levels, creek levels are not as high because it's not widespread. Oh, here are those turkeys again that I mentioned. Most animals like traveling on the edge of the road because it's easier than walking through the woods. Especially in the winter time, you'll see a lot of moose in the road, and when you come, they finally decide to leap into the forest, and they're struggling. It looks like they're swimming sometimes you're up here in the winter and there's 4 feet of snow on the ground. That's why the moose are rather walking the plowed road. It's difficult for them, burning a lot of energy walking through 3-4 feet of snow out here. See that ribbon someone hung in the tree? That might just be an area where they're gonna log. You see, this was already logged recently, but you gotta be careful when you see ribbons because somebody else might be marking that there is a hazard. You can tell this area was a giant mud hole, but thankfully it has solidified a good amount. Not really a risk of getting stuck at the moment. See that to the left? A log fell off of one of the trucks. This right here, you can tell, was also pretty muddy, but more vehicles running it over have already kind of smoothed it out already. But boom. I know there are a couple muddy spots that might be coming up soon. This is already solidified nicely. Sinking a little tiny bit. If you could see, there was a couple timbers in the mud. A lot of times when they have a lot of mud, if they want to still get trucks down here, they'll put wooden timbers and sometimes even put gravel over that to reinforce it temporarily. But frost heaves in the upcoming years always push the timbers up into the road where they're going to have to be covered again, or they're going to have to be removed, because it feels like you're driving over railroad ties. I think I did that once before with the car. I was driving down an abandoned railroad where the rails were removed, but the ties were still there. It's not fun. And I just saw big old moose diarrhea in the road. It wasn't even in that pelleted form. It looks like a big cow dump. Right here I can see there's some ripples in the road. What causes ripples in these logging roads is the frost heaves are pushing rocks up that were unseen. Sometimes the rocks stay up because underneath where the ice was holding it up can fill in as it melts with sediments, meaning the rock now needs to be pulled out of the road with heavy equipment, or at the very least, if it's a very big rock, the grader will kind of grind it down. Sometimes the rock will settle back down, creating a big hole that now needs to be filled or graded over. If you're able to see right now, there's a bunch of moose tracks down the middle of the road. And check out the beautiful white pine trees we just went by. Those are the giant ones. The rest of these are fir trees, mainly used for pulpwood. The really big white pine is lumber that they use it for. The trees are always replanted when they are cut down. The pulp is typically logged every 40 years. That pipe is nice and open. That was a big one. And the white pines are planted and logged about every 70 years for their lumber. You see, now that we're getting into a darker part of the forest, you can see there's still a good amount of snow. If I look into the forest, there's a good amount of snowpack. It's becoming patchy with the warmer weather. Yep, it is becoming patchy. But I'd say on average, there's still a good half a foot here. We're gonna get this log out of the road that obviously fell off of one of the log trucks. And certain areas still have a good dense couple feet of snowpack. That birch log was a lot heavier than it looked. It's still wet, and it had a bow in it. So it didn't want to roll perfectly, but that's good to get it out of the way because some people are barreling around these corners so fast in the middle of the night. So a lot of times those logs, they will be picked up again by some of the log truck drivers have trailers with a hydraulic arm that they'll go around and they'll pick up things like that as they're driving around. Self-loading log trucks. In certain areas, the log truck shows up and the equipment operator will immediately fill it so he can take off. In some cases, depending what logging company it may be, the truck driver will stop, get out of the truck, start up one of the heavy machines to load it if the trailer or truck itself doesn't have any way of loading itself. One-lane bridge ahead. Is this the bridge? No, it is not. This is a culvert pipe. And no, there is no blockage. Both sides are flooded because it is still the spring thaw, and the actual river here is backing up into all of that. You can see how it's really worn down going over that bridge. That's from all the tire chains and studded tires in the winter. I still have my studded snow tires on, and I'll probably keep them on through the middle of May because some of these roads, not this one because it was plowed, but I'm still going down some of the side roads that have a pretty good snowpack on them. And the roads that were heavily used by snowmobilers, that couple feet of snow that was there in the winter, it was packed pretty dense. And that stuff won't melt until the middle of next month, the month of May. Growing season this far north doesn't officially start until June 1st. My area is usually, no, this is June 15th. My area is June 1st. But typically it's safe to plant a couple weeks in advance, especially if you're really watching the weather forecast and you can go out there if there's going to be a light frost and put some sheets down just to protect your garden. Just putting a bed sheet or something over it will protect it from a good light frost, I should say. That was a maple log, much easier to move because it was perfectly straight and really wanted to roll. It's so peaceful out here, you know. I have not seen another person in 3 days, except I heard somebody drive by the vehicle last night when I was sleeping, but that's about it. I have not actually seen another vehicle on the road. I've gone by logging sites where I've seen trucks parked that are obviously in the woods working, but I've not seen or passed a vehicle in 3 days. Love working out in the wilderness. See, the road looks dry, but I'm bogging down and sinking pretty deep into it. It's amazing. Some of these roads look dry, but you look behind yourself and you're leaving wet tracks. That's how I got stuck that one time for a long time. I was driving down a road that looked dry, but you just sink into a melting frost heave. All right, this pipe right here, how are we looking? This one's holding up a little bit of water, and it looks like they recently logged, so there could be something in it. This park right here, no one's gonna come, and even if they did, out here is so quiet in the wilderness, you'd hear them probably 5 minutes before they even showed up. It's just so quiet. But I'll leave the vehicle running because I'm probably gonna have nothing to do here. Step out of the vehicle, we got some good moose tracks, and there's definitely a pipe. Looks like the grader kind of filled it in, unless it's so deep it's underneath the snowbank, but I really don't think so. That one's really filled in. In likelihood, the road is still frozen if I had to dig pretty deep into there. At least it's a metal pipe. Yeah, the grader definitely did this, and I can see water grass, all kinds of stuff growing in there. Yeah, this one I'm gonna have to end up marking. I'm just about out of marking tape, but I got some bright orange duct tape I'll put on either side of it so somebody can know. And I think that pipe is salvageable. It just needs to be dug out a little bit on each side. I marked it, but you know, I think I might actually be able to do something for this pipe. I'm gonna leave it marked because this pipe needs to be fixed a little bit. It's got some excavator damage, but I'm gonna pull over and I'm actually gonna get the rake out. I think if I open the entrance of the pipe and get water going through it, it'll start spewing out the other side where I can easily find it. And I don't believe the ground is frozen, especially with all that active groundwater. It looks like, is that a ton of deer poops up there? All right, everyone, so I just shut the vehicle off, and yeah, you don't see deer out here often. It's usually moose. So yeah, I'm gonna get the rake out. I'm gonna put camera number 2 right over here, and maybe we can get something flowing enough to identify exactly where it is. All right, everybody, that's just for camera alignment if you're new to the channel. Shut the vehicle off because I'm gonna be here a little bit. First, get this snow out of here. The pipe is definitely crumpled from the excavator, but it's really not that bad. Let me give you a little better angle of this up close so you can see as it starts going into the pipe. See, it's crumpled a little bit, but I think it's still got some capacity, pretty good capacity. Let's see if we can get it going if we... Yeah, there's already water in the pipe, so this might not work at all. Yeah, so me digging out the end. Okay, we got flow. We definitely got some stuff going. Definitely. Hopefully a big blast of water can come through here at some point and help clean it out completely. Because I can't really do that. Yeah, this thing needs to be jetted or something. But I think the pipe is pretty much still good. It's built up inside a lot of sediment because it just can't get out the other end. Definitely water going in, but I don't see anything coming out, so delete camera number 2's footage. Definitely not needed. All right, and we have a few definite blockages down the road we'll get to soon. It makes sense why it's so filled in. This thing has been like this for years for that kind of growth. Yeah, it's already starting to get kind of hot out. All you gotta do is a little bit of physical labor and you start sweating. Even though it's not even that hot out. It's 51 currently. Last night was beautiful for sleeping. We were just about at the freezing mark. That's when I sleep the best. I love it when it's like that outside. It's miserable for sleeping if you're around like 60 or over when you're in a car. All right, going down the road some more. See if we can find anything else interesting. It is too hot out. I'm gonna put the air conditioning on and shut the windows for now until we get up to some nice mud that'll make some cool noises driving through. Culvert here. This area looks like a good amount of water. There's no evidence that it actually needs to be unclogged, but when we come across something like this with a lot of water and potential beavers in the area, yes, the pipe is right about here. Just saw it nicely coming out, looking up nice and high. Do I have to get out? So the water's coming out there. Pipe is over here. Even if there is a blockage, I can't get to it this time of year. We'll get to it next time. There's too much ice on that pond. Wouldn't even be able to get down in there this time of year. But another week or two, that'll be all melted out with these kind of temperatures. So everyone, let me know in the comments if you like this kind of video, riding along in the car like this while I go around looking for these issues. Because if you guys do like these videos, I can make a lot more of them. But if you don't like them, then I'll just stick to the actual unclogging part of the video, since this is a lot of footage to go through at the end of the day. I'm just waiting for that exciting part of the road with all the mud I almost got stuck in. See a ton of moose tracks right there. That's what's all over the road, those little holes from them running, little hoof marks. See right there, more little holes. Right here, some more of those wooden timbers sticking up that the frost pushes up. So when you live up north like this, anything that's, I'd say, less than 3 or 4 feet in the ground, frost has the potential to get underneath and start lifting up. minutes, we're probably going to come up to the first area. I wanted to see if there was a blockage or not. It looked like it from up above. And hold the phone. We just went over something that looks like it could be another blockage. Where is it? Here we are. Not a blockage. But you gotta go over and double check. See, I can pull right up to the pipe, look down at the mouth of it, and see there's nothing there. Oop, a little slippery there. I think this area is beautiful. The pine trees and the snow. Driving roads like this, moose love the mud. You'll see a lot of moose on a road like this. I'm happy that I actually saw a couple this week, because in recent days, recent years, you just haven't been seeing them as much. The ticks and diseases are slowly killing them off. They're becoming a rare animal as time goes on. Very surprised they haven't been put on the threatened animal list yet. Just don't see them very often. I know my area took down all the moose crossing signs like 3 years ago, because there's not enough. I finally saw some moose tracks for the first time in 2 years on my property. Unfortunately, I didn't have any trail cameras running at the time, but I got some trail cameras up and running once again. There's a log in the road again, not really interfering. It's not that far in, but I want to grab it. Look at that, it scared some crows away up there. Those things are heavier than they look. I should be very careful, but I'm sure I scared them far away. That mama bear can be angry. I forget what part of the road that was. I saw the bears. I know it was at least a couple miles away from where I'll be unblocking a pipe. So I'm not really worried about them. And I doubt they're just gonna come near me. Although some baby bears are playful, they'll come right up to you and then get you attacked by the mother. I do have bear spray in the vehicle. Maybe I should keep it on me. Alright, this is, I think, the first spot I really wanted to stop at. See the water discharging on the left? This is the first spot I just wanted to check on, I think. This is not the one with the definite blockage, I don't think. Alright, we got some pretty good flow coming out of this plastic pipe. Over here in the swamp. Oh yes, this is the one we wanted to do. See, there's a broken piece of plastic pipe I'll just put near the road, although it probably won't get picked up out here. You see, when they graded this road very recently, you see this area is very recently done. It's because last winter, this part of the road actually pushed out. And when they were grading and fixing all the potholes, it may have even been done this year. It looks very recent. Maybe it was done last fall, but anyways, they pushed some of it down here, blocking about half the capacity of the pipe. So I'm just gonna simply go and get the big high boots on right now, stand in the water right there, pull it out, and you guys will be able to see on camera number 2 what that does. So I'm gonna get back in the vehicle, turn it off, get out here for a little while and do this. And this next pipe has a good amount of crumpling on it. And look how thick that ice still is, because up here, this place freezes solid. Still over a foot of ice, if you can see that. Although it may be pretty slushy, and I doubt it would hold you. This one right here, what do we got here? Just a little bit of a blockage. Ooh, look at this. Thin ice. That's from when it got below freezing last night. That little layer comes and goes this time of year. We got that one flowing a little better. Yeah. Can also get that big stick out of there too. Whoa! Oh! Ah! I flooded my boots by accident. Welp. Couldn't stop myself there. This stick is so long, I can't pick it up with one hand. I'm gonna have to get the tripod. Well, I will not be getting the big high boots on now that I flooded myself. I will continue the rest of the day out with my wet boots. Tonight I will hang them upside down so they can drip off. Wow, that's so cold, that water. But my body will warm it up in a few minutes. Then I'll change my pants tonight. It's okay. Camera number 2 is going. Let's get down into the water. Stick. Whoa! Very deep water. Okay, that's not a half a section of pipe that's down inside there. That's an entire section of pipe full of silt. I don't know if I can get that up. It's coming. Here we go. Entire section of pipe filled with silt. Let's get that out of here. It looks like the excavator may have broken it off of that while unclogging it. Bloop. Put that up by the road. Wow, that mud that came out of that really stinks. Here we go. That's gonna get a big blast going on the other side. There is some gravel inside the pipe, but hopefully the current and future storms help blast it out so it doesn't get worse. I'm gonna dig down to the bottom of the pipe. Almost there. Trying to get some of it out of the immediate entrance. Maybe get rid of some of that, help it not keep crumbling. You know, there's no evidence that beavers are here, but keep in mind, beavers are more likely to get angry, splash their tails, which is a threat to you, and they're outright more likely to attack if hear that noise? The rocks are eroding, and it's accelerating. It's eroding all by itself with this current. Wow. Anyways, I was saying beavers are more likely to attack in a smaller pond because of territory. If this was a giant lake and you were messing with one of their dams, they're not really going to care too much. And they'll just come repair it when you're done. No matter where it is, if you're near their beaver lodge, then they're going to get pretty angry. This water will clear up in just a couple minutes. A small pond like this, they don't really have anywhere to go to escape your presence. Just draining this out enough where it won't tip. Like one time I got back in the car with flooded boots in. Anytime I move my legs a little bit to switch pedals, it spilled a little bit like a cup. That's going good. A lot better than when we got here. This whole area will drop a few inches from that. That's it, just a few inches. Other side, look at all that muddy water. We're doing good. Still a couple rocks tumbling out of there. I'm gonna shut camera number 2 off, and I wanna bring you guys down there in person and see what's inside the pipe. Maybe you might be able to see the little blockage that's still in there. Maybe you can see, oh, they already completely erode. Yeah, just about. The gravel was just stuck against that little, I don't know if the pipe's broken, but you can see definitely where something's a little off. Yep. I don't know if you could see that weirdness there. One of the lenses had water on it, a water drop. That's what that was. Yeah. This log is pretty big. Wow. I don't even know if I can get that out. This is one big beaver. Man. It goes way in there too. This water's freezing. Very gross mud too. Look at all those swamp bubbles coming up. Stinky. And a floating ram's horn snail. You see, I can't pull it out straight. It's too long. And I can't lift it up because it's too heavy. It's gonna have to stay like that, unfortunately. And now I got like silt and gravel inside my boot. Gonna have to get back in the water over here and dump and rinse them out. And I'll do this a little bit with the rake before I continue on my way. Wow, that ice still is pretty strong. Just the top couple inches went to slush. There's a full-blown beaver dam in there. Also pretty crumpled. Look at all that current we just started. Gonna pull through all the ice. All right, here we go. Time to rinse off the boots. Good. Rinse off without losing my soles. Good. You know, I've been using the same type of boots from Tractor Supply for years, and they used to come with really good soles, and they would last the life of the boot. Now they come with garbage soles where I have to spend a whole bunch more money to put a good sole in there that doesn't rip and fall apart after a week. I would have rather just pay the boot company an extra $10 for the good old sole they used to have. Let's get back on the road. Either some big animal just was hanging out in there the whole time I was unclogging and just decided to run away, or something is moving towards me. Something big just ran through the swamp, and I don't know what direction it was going in. Just put the heat on my feet and put the windows down. Every part of me is hot except my feet. Going back down the road a little bit. I don't know if we'll find anything else, but I'm gonna time lapse the rest of this road. There's a few more pretty muddy areas. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.